Hey guys, it's Luke from Makes It Made Simple, and let me know, can you tell the difference between this mix and this one? All right, well, hopefully you could, because today we're going to be talking about muddy mixes and how to prevent them. And before we get started, make sure you look in the description below and get my free guide. It's all about the things you need to know if you're going to mix and master your track from start to finish. And I also have a lot of free, tips, and like I talk about myths and things like that you should avoid. All right, let's go ahead and jump in the DAW and get started. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about muddy mixes and how to avoid them. And so when you hear mud, when a mix sounds muddy, what exactly does that mean? Well, usually it means that there's a build up in the frequency range around 250 hertz. And this can happen pretty easily if you're not careful with your EQing, especially if you start layering a lot. And that's actually what happened when I was working on this track. I was working on it and all of a sudden I was like, I could just tell there was build up, after you've done this for so long, you can just start to hear this stuff pretty quickly. And I was like, okay, I need to fix that. And then I thought this would be a great video to talk about this. So you've heard the before and after examples. And what I've done here is the before example was with some EQ that wasn't that great. And I'm going to go through basically instrument or like track by track and clean things up. And then you'll hear the after example again. And I'm actually going to play them before and after so you can really hear the difference. And I think it's going to be really helpful. So let's go ahead and take a look first. The first thing I can do, one thing you can do is with the bass. And so, with bass instruments, a lot of times you're going to have, there's kind of like a higher part of a bass that you want to keep in, but you don't necessarily need the lower end. And what I mean by that is like, say in this drop section over here, if I have this pluck, so like something like this, for example, see, I might actually EQ out a lot of the lower end of the bass because I'm layering it with another low part of the bass. And so for these, I'm not going to worry about these for now, but if you listen to this respace and this sub over here, I'm combining these, by the way. Here's the sub. You probably can't hear that much. Well, hopefully you can. And then here's the res. And one little trick that you can do is you can just take on your bass group itself and you can just attenuate, lower down 250 hertz. And so you might not be able to notice it, but it is creating some space in there and it's helping so that things don't build up when you're adding them in with the other instruments. So that's something I'm just going to go ahead and leave that on. And then now I'm going to go up and I'm going to turn the vocals off for now. And I'm going to go ahead and start one by one. Actually, that's off. This group here, I'm going to show you in a little bit how I'm going to turn these off and on just to really demonstrate this whole idea of the muddiness. But let's go ahead and start. So if I just play this section. First, I'm going to start with this pluck here. So actually, this is like a little bit of like this little melody that I've kind of put into this progression. And there isn't much I can do with this because it primarily just is already in that range, but I do want a little bit of that. So I'm just going to keep this here for now. I might turn it down a little bit later. And then this pad though, and I'm not saying to EQ things by themselves a lot of the time, but a lot of times you'll want to EQ in the context. But if you go ahead and, so if I go ahead and take this pad, I can go ahead and take this and you can hear that if I EQ out some of these problem frequencies down here, the ones that can build up, it doesn't sound that much different, but you can still hear the pad and the pad's still in there, adding that background, adding that support that I want. And so let's go ahead and play it and I'll EQ it in the context of the mix. gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna keep it right there. And I like that. Now I'm gonna go to this pluck sound. I've got a lot of layers going on. It's almost like a lesson in layering as well. And so this one, this is also that same melody, and this is what I did. I took I kind of, to show the before example, I took all these, the EQing, and I just I changed the EQing back to where I was leaving in these problem frequencies. So you hear that? And you hear the melody, you hear all the stuff that we want up here. And so let's go ahead and do it in the context. So I'm going to leave it there like that. And I got that melody, I got that support in there. You can hear my dogs bark in the background. Don't worry about that. And then, now let's move on to the next. This pad, oh, this one doesn't matter. This already has everything filtered out that I want. And it's just kind of this high background pad that I got going on. And then here are the leads combined. And I'm going to show you a little trick here with some EQing that you can do that really cleans things up pretty nicely. So first, I've got this pluck. Let's see, I've got a lot going on. So and you can hear that kind of energy in there, that though in that range of 250 hertz, but we don't necessarily want to get rid of it. I'm going to keep that one there. I'm actually not sure if these are the same. Are these the same? Let's see. Hopefully they're not the same instrument. Oh, they are. Okay. So I can actually turn one of these off. That might have been causing issues. Go ahead and turn this off. I probably doubled that up. It was going to change this pluck, but then like left it on by mistake. And then we can now take this EQ. Okay. I actually want this range. And this one's already been EQ'd quite a bit, I think. But you can hear, like, if I EQ out this lower stuff, it doesn't change that much. So I might just do a little bit of it, though, to keep some of that kind of body in there, but enough to where it doesn't change that much, but we're getting rid of those frequencies that can build up and cause issues. I got a little dynamic EQ right here as well. And then finally, this one's not really an issue. It's got the same kind of thing going on here. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a listen. And let's actually play it with the vocal because that's important. Okay, and then before I play the before and after examples, I just want to show you with these, the reason I had these grouped together is because I can really show you if these are like too loud, for example, or if I don't have these attenuated. And I got this pluck here. Let's just go ahead. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's go. Okay, now let's turn these up. And actually, let's just use the group. Now watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and turn this up and then down, and then listen to the difference that it makes. When you lost on a moonless night, I'll be by your side, be your guiding light. I promise I won't be far. I'll turn it down. I will hold you tight, when it's cold outside. When you lost on a moonless night, I'll be by your side, be your guiding light. So you hear when that it's turned up, how it's adding, it's just starting to muddy up the mix and you're starting to lose the vocal and everything too. So I want to just make sure that's under control. You can do a lot. Always think how much you can do with the faders first and then EQ, and then, you know, compression, reverb, all that stuff later. So last thing I want to show you is a really cool trick. So if I take these leads, or not leads, but these pluck kind of leads, you can take the EQ, Ableton EQ3, which is really great because you can't actually see what you're doing. You're forced to use your ears, which is really important because now let's go ahead and I'm just going to solo these and then let's take a listen to what I do. If I just play with some knobs here and then just really listen to what I'm doing and then go back and forth, okay? I'm going to start with the low, just taking out some of the lows that don't sound that necessary. Maybe add a little bit of highs. Play with the mids. It's too much. Listen to the difference that makes, okay? Just doing a little bit, when you're changing, you almost can't hear it, but when I go back and forth, listen to the difference that makes, okay? Here's with it off. Now on. You can hear that, you can just hear it in that one area. Like if I grab a EQ8, it's like right here. And that's really subtle, but changing it in that way, keeping the stuff that you need and getting rid of the stuff that you don't need is really going to clean up the mix. And you don't want to go overboard. You know, obviously if you like EQ everything to like this tiny little, you know, sliver of a instrument, then it might sound weird and like thin, but let's go ahead and listen to this in the context of the mix. Let's go ahead and turn, we'll leave the vocal on. When you're lost on a moonless night, I'll be by your side, be your guiding light. I promise I won't be far behind, I will hold you tight. When it's cold outside, when you're lost on a moonless night, I'll be by you. And I still hear some buildup of this. So let's go ahead and just turn this down. We'll turn the pad down first. I don't want to completely get rid of it, because if I get rid of it, then it's sounding a little bit. You can hear that right there. This final result, it sounds way better than it did before. And it's these little things. The mixing's all about like 1,000 things that add up versus like one big thing. I mean, sometimes you'll have one big thing that you need to fix and it's causing issues, but really it's like these little things that are subtle, but then they add up over time to really, you know, affect the overall end result. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll play a before and after example, and you can hear the difference. And I hope this helps, you know, really make sure to watch out for the frequencies in this 250 hertz area. And then, you know, you're going to be adding high pass filters like this to most of your instruments that are mids, high range, and then potentially low pass filtering like stuff in the bass area that you just don't necessarily need these high frequency ranges. And then you can also attenuate right here. So go ahead and take those tips, go to your own mix today and add this EQ stuff into your mix and then see if that helps. And I really think it will. So let's go ahead and, you know, make sure if you like this video, like and subscribe, and let's just end with hearing the before and after example so you can really hear a difference. All right, I'll see you again next time. When you're lost on